One love, job bless. Far Nelson here, and today I'm here to talk to you about how we need to not get distracted right before our blessings. So, how do we not get distracted right before our blessings? And what is distractions? What do I really mean by distractions? Well, distractions come in many different ways, and I don't know why distractions come into our path. But what I do know is from the Most High. It's for a reason. It's for a test. It's for some type of reason. Whether we need to indulge in it or not, it's for a reason. And sometimes when we're on our paths, when we're on our journeys of living a righteous life, living a life spiritually aligned with our true selves, we see things that are trying to guide us away from the path that we know we should be taking. Whether it's small, something as small as eating something that we know we shouldn't be eating, or going to a place we know we shouldn't be going, or watching something we know we shouldn't be watching. Or it could be something big, like completely doing something that you know is wrong, and you're just doing it. So we have to realize that when we do these things, when we fall into these distractions, it may be a trip at first, it may be a slip at first, but if we continue to let these distractions distract us from our true path, from our true nature, it will become a fall. We will fall from the Most High's grace. We will fall from doing our spiritual practices, because one day turns into 3 days, turns into a week, turns into a month, and before you know it, you can't remember the last time you meditated. Before you know, you can't remember the last time you read. Before you know it, your screen time is 10 hours a day. You don't want to let yourself slip into distractions, because 9 times out of 10, when these distractions come, when these trials and tribulations might come into your life and you're like, I have too much stress to make time to be meditating every single day, or I'm just too tired from work to be meditating every single day, or I'm just too tired to be praying every day, or reading every day, or journaling every day, or whatever, how many spiritual tools are in your tool belt. When we stop doing these things and we let ourselves get distracted by, the 3D stuff, that materialism with the Instagram and TikTok scrolling, and with just mindless television, even sometimes people get on these documentary binge watchings and think that they're doing something because they're just watching documentaries, but it's not as effective and not as meditative as reading a book. It's not as effective and not as, healing as actually going to YouTube and watching a guru, or watching a spiritual talk, or watching, just someone give you advice and wisdom about certain things that you may be going through or may go through in the future. Sometimes people don't realize the blessing is coming because they're so distracted with other things going on in their life that they don't see how it's already manifesting, how the blessing is already manifesting within and throughout all around them. But they're so focused on this bill that, is late, or they're so focused on their car needing an oil change, or they're so focused on this family member that's sick, that they can't see that if they just continue on their spiritual journey, if they continue on their spiritual path of praying, not only for themselves, but for everyone, and meditating, not only for themselves, but for everybody, and learning, gaining wisdom, not only for yourself, but everybody, that you will be able to help these people that you care about, that you'll be able to help these situations that are causing you turmoil mentally and physically and spiritually. You'll be able to help your own body. If you have ailments, if you have swollen limbs, if you have, creaking joints and hurt hips and things like this, you'll be able to heal yourself more and more as you go on in your spiritual progress. But if you let yourself continually be distracted and fall down different, different paths of where you should be going, you're only hurting yourself. Well, you're not only hurting yourself, because really, if you were living your best version, and that is only just being a better self every single day as much as you can, trying to learn more than you did yesterday every day that you can, be a better version of yourself every single day. If you're living your best version, then you're not only helping yourself, you're helping so many others. So you not living your best version is not only hurting yourself, it's hurting everybody. It's hurting your family. It's hurting that random person that you could have walked by and just gave a nice smile to, and they could have seen your light. So you doing the things that you're doing spiritually, meditating, praying, reading, journaling, doing yoga, anything that you want to do, going to churches and mosques and whatever you want to do in your spiritual journey. But you doing this work, you doing the effort to connect with the divine source within and throughout all of us, to actually learn the wisdom and realize that life is about love and finding serenity and simplicity, enjoying the simple things, and realizing 9 times out of 10 the things that we think are so simple are so complex and beautiful once you see them for what they are. Once you actually look at an apple for what it truly is, you'll be completely wowed. Once you see a watermelon in all its wonder, you'll be completely, amazed. Once you actually get down and grow your own food and start planning and seeing the progress from start to finish, you'll be amazed at what the Most High does. But we don't see these things. We don't see the beauty of life until we take that effort and let ourselves focus on our divine path. Focus on the beauty that the Most High creates every single day in our life. Focus on those beautiful flowers on the way home and take a smell of them, We can't be so distracted by things that aren't of the Most High. We can't be distracted by materialism, by circumstances, by external lust, external, pools of instant gratification that we all struggle with. Because instant gratification is truly the most addictive thing for everybody. The reason why you want to eat that cake now instead of after you eat a salad is because we want that instant gratification that we know we're going to get from eating that cake. The reason why we want to, just get a surgery instead of, going to the gym is because we want that instant gratification. The fact that we want to just take this drug and feel good instead of sitting down and meditating and praying and building a connection with the Most High so you have ecstasy at all times is because we rather have that instant ecstasy. We rather have that instant gratification, that instant high. You see, people are stuck in an instant gratification time loop. That's why they have microwaves. We don't even want to put stuff in the oven anymore. We know the microwave is genetically modifying our foods and putting radiation chemicals in our foods and things like this, but we're like, so far so good, so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And this is what people do. They continue the status quo unless there's some type of catalyst that changes them. And that's us. When we are not distracted by the status quo, when we are not distracted by everything else that everybody else constantly lets himself be distracted by, when we start learning the truth and we don't get distracted from anything other than the truth, the divine truths that we have learned, whether it's through about food, whether it's about how we think mentally, or whether it's how we know how we're supposed to act spiritually throughout the world. When we follow this divine truths that we have learned, we are able to help be that catalyst, be that pushing factor to change others. And I don't mean that we have to push others to change. It's just just by being us, being that light, we will be able to help change others. So we can't take it as someone else will handle it. We can't take it as, oh, if I meditate once a week or once a month, that'll be good enough. When we have done the research, when we have done the knowledge building to truly know that it's not enough to get where we are going, the information that we have gained, the reason why you're watching this is because we have been chosen to do more. We have been chosen to meditate every single day, to pray every single day, to record our progress, to record our days, record our history in our journals. We have been chosen to do these things because not many people are out here meditating every single day, unless you go to a monk sanctuary or there's some Muslims that meditate every single day, but the majority, especially in the Western society, is not meditating every single day. It's not even praying every single day. And they're especially not reading every single day. So we have to realize that if we're being called to do these things, if we're being called to act in a different way than the normal society is, then we have to go with the flow with that thing, and we can't resist it. Don't be distracted by what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is saying that you should do. We know because we have built that connection with the divine. We know when we're doing things out of righteousness, and we know when we're doing things out of wickedness. And especially if you're doing things out of wickedness, you know that is blocking your blessing more and more and more, and building karmas that are only blocking even more blessings. So when times get hard, or when sometimes it's not even times being hard, but when opportunities come up for you to maybe come up, or for you to do things that may be cutting corners, or a way that is just not the way of Yah. When we start looking at options that aren't the way of the Most High, we need to cut it off. I was looking at this pizza. I already knew. I said I had enough of this pizza. I had some people just keep ordering pizza, so I just had enough. I have had it like 3 times throughout the week, and I usually don't eat pizza. I try to eat all plant-based, but they got the veggie pizza, everything, and I was gonna get another slice of pizza, and it was the next day. And in my head, I'm already like, 1, it's pizza. I don't need it. 2, it's the next day. It's not as fresh. There's already microorganisms that are probably, building up in there. It's not gonna be as fresh. It's not gonna be, sometimes food the next day is better. I'm not gonna even lie. When you heat up food the next day, sometimes it is a lot better. But I just knew I didn't need it. I knew I didn't need it. And I wanted to go as far as even open the box and see what was left in there. See what, how many slices, or, what type of pizza was left in there. And I realized that was the distraction. That's how life plays out. we get a little tickle of something. Like we may hear of something or we may see something, whether it's an ad or whether it's in front of us, we may see someone have a beer and we say, oh, let me just take a sip. You're already seeing it. It's already distracting you. The pizza was in the box, right? I couldn't see the pizza, but if I opened that pizza and visually put my eyes to it and a smell hit me, that's more senses that I'm getting. If someone has a beer next to you and you don't drink, right? And maybe your discipline isn't all the way there, and that's okay. It's a tough society we live in that pushes stuff in our face that is not good for us and tries to make it seem normal. But if you don't drink and someone's next to you, and you may be struggling that day and you just see the beer, you see the alcoholic beverage, and you're just like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite alcoholic beverage. You've already seen it. What you should do is you should look away. What you should do is do some breath work or separate yourself from that situation if you can. You don't wait until you hear the can pop open. Let your ears hear it too. You don't wait until you can smell it on that dude's breath as he talks to you. So you can smell it too. Now you're seeing, hearing, and smelling. Now all these senses coming back to you. And this is how you get distracted. When you let little things pull you away. When you go to Instagram to watch one video, then all of a sudden you look up and it's an hour later and you're like, what the heck happened? We all have done this. It happens, Like I said, I don't usually eat pizza. I don't recommend people to eat pizza. But it happens. We have to be patient with ourselves when we slip. We don't need to be hard on ourselves when we slip. But if you're falling, be hard on yourself. Push yourself to get up. You don't want to stay down. It's okay to slip here and there. Well, it's not okay to slip here and there, but it happens. But we want to get to the point where we're constantly on our divine path and we're constantly focused on getting back to the Most High. Focused on, oh, I can't wait till the next time I pray. I can't wait till the next time I meditate. If you focus on these things, if you focus on the beauty of the world around you, whether it's looking at just at people or looking at nature or looking at just things around you in general, when you focus on what you need to be focusing on, and that is the Most High's creations of all sorts and sizes and buildings and cars and grass fields and trees and birds and butterflies. If you're looking at all of the creations and just enjoying the creations, you don't have time to be distracted with things that aren't good for you, because you're so satisfied with the world as it is. You're so satisfied with being able to actually see, being able to actually hear, being able to actually taste. Because before, we were just living. We weren't actually experiencing, we weren't actually taking in how beautiful and complex and amazing this world is until we have truly awoken to how beautiful this world is. Because that's how we've been trained. We've been trained to be dumbed down. We've been trained to be distracted from our blessings. We've been trained to think that this world isn't abundant. We've been trained to think this world isn't wealthy. Don't let yourself be distracted right before your blessings. When you get distracted on your path, it delays your blessings. It delays the things that you're trying to manifest, because it only is hurting you mentally, physically, and spiritually. You feel heavy when you eat something that you're not supposed to be eating. You feel tired, You feel a guilt when you do things that you aren't supposed to be doing. You feel strangeness in your gut when you're hanging out with people or hanging out at a place you're not supposed to be hanging out with. So we have to realize that once we have been blessed with this wisdom and knowledge, we can't waste it. We can't dismiss it and throw it away. The Most High says those who know are more severe sinners than those who do not know. So for us to do things that are wrong and know what is truly right and wrong, and us still do these things, whether it's small or big, it causes greater implications to our mental, physical, and spiritual health than a normal person who does not know. Maybe we'll have to fast later. Maybe we'll have to work harder to get back on our prayer and meditation schedule. Maybe we'll have to catch up on a bunch of days of journaling that we missed. Maybe we'll feel like our progress is fleeing from us and that we are close to falling. But just know that we're never close to falling as long as we have faith in the Most High. As long as that we are doing our spiritual practices especially, then there is never going to be even a significant fall. There's not even going to be much of a thing you can even call a stumble. We may trip, but we're not stumbling and like, oh, no. We may trip, you may slip, even. But falling and stumbling, that's something that people on their spiritual journey, people that are disciplined, don't do. I used to be undisciplined. I can tell you so many times I would slip and fall and do all these things and the blessing would never come. But since I've awoken to the true ways of the universe, to the true ways of the divine, the true ways of the Most High, since I've came into this awareness, I have seen what following the path, no matter what storms are going on, no matter who's screaming, no matter, what is going on. I've seen what following the path does for you. And it's not blessings like a materialism, blessings or this and that. It's just that you see the beauty of life. You see the beauty of why you had to struggle. Or you see the beauty of you just conquering a day. Sometimes just conquering a day where we didn't fall into temptation, where we didn't fall into greed, where we didn't fall into, anger, is just such an amazing day. When we know that there was a situation or a moment there where you like, oh my gosh, I could have lost it. I really was contemplating losing it. I was contemplating doing this. I was contemplating doing that. I was contemplating eating this or eating that. And I didn't. I stayed faithful. I stayed strong. I stayed disciplined. I stayed having patience and gratitude for what I do have. And I'm so happy I did. The feeling of that gratification instead of the instant gratification that is very fleeting is quick to go. As quick as it comes, as quick as it leaves. Especially once you have the knowledge and you have the wisdom, it flees even faster. The true gratification, the true pleasure, the true bliss, the true joy and wonder of the world comes with gratification that isn't instant. It comes from you resisting doing something and then feeling later at the end of the day, wow, I made it through the day without doing that. I made it through the day making a good decision about that thing. So trust that the Most High is always pushing us to our greatest and highest self. Don't get distracted by Babylon ways. Don't get distracted by things that you know aren't healing for your journey, whether it's mentally, physically, or spiritually. We have to keep our temple clean in all ways, because there's a lot out there that's polluting us mentally, physically, and spiritually. But we can't get distracted. It's okay to slip. It's okay to, trip. But don't stumble, don't fall. And by doing your spiritual practices, meditation, praying, journaling, yoga, reading spiritual books, watching gurus and different, spiritual teachers, you'll be okay on your journey. You'll constantly have the reminder that the Most High is always guiding us, always with us, always present in all things. And that's when life becomes blissful. That's when life becomes serene. So if you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. One love.